What's up, y'all? Yo, what's good, y'all? All right, well, that was one song on M8. We're gonna get started making a new one soon, but let me just play one more track, I guess. See what we got here. And as you can see, we've got some fancy gear out today. I'm gonna be messing around with the 303, which I'll talk more about in a second. But yeah, let's vibe out to something else here. What else we got? What is this one? Yo, Strilife. Oh, dang. It sent an email? Dude, that's what's up. Gotta turn them notifications on, dude. I feel like such a dork saying that, but yeah, man. Glad you caught the stream. Oh, hell yeah. Dude, that's what's up. Yo, that vinyl sim though? All right. Yeah, dude, that's what's up. Oh, dude, I appreciate that, Still Life. Thanks for saying that. But yeah, you're bringing up a good point here, which is the Patreon. And that is something that I created free. There's no charge associated with it, so you can join as a free member. And yeah, like Still Life is saying, you can get the notifications when I go live. Because every time I go live, I'll post something on there, basically the sample that I'm going to be using. So you can even download the sample that I work with by joining the Patreon. So it's pretty cool stuff. And like I said, no strings attached or any kind of hidden billing or fees or anything. You just basically get notifications when I'm streaming, and then you can also mess around with the sample, which we're going to listen to in a second here. But before we do that, let's talk about the mission today, because I do have an objective, which is related to the SP303. That's why I broke this thing out. And yeah, basically what I want to do with today's session is try and use the M8 to kind of sequence and control all of the sounds on the SP303. So I'm going to be recording stuff onto here like, you know, kick and snare, hi-hat, that sort of thing. And then the sample chops as well. And then all of that is going to get sequenced through the M8. Because the M8 has a very precise sequencer, so you can do a lot of cool stuff with it. So I'm thinking that by having the sequencer from here, and then the, you know, lovely sound of the SP303, we're going to get a nice combination, some good synergy going. So we'll see how it goes. But yo, Sidesi, dude, what's up, man? How's it going? Welcome. But yeah, let's get things started here. And first things first is everyone's favorite exercise, which is MIDI connections. So we got to do MIDI out of M8, and then we got to go in to the SP303. And the 303 does not have one of those like small MIDI ports like the TRS or whatever. You got to use 5-pin. So that's what we got here. We got 5-pin cable, and then this is for M8. And then this is the one that I'll plug into the SP303. Another fun fact about the SP303 is that it does not have a MIDI out. You can only do MIDI in on it. You can't send MIDI out of it, which I guess is not that big of a deal, seeing as it only has pretty much 4 pads. But yeah, let me plug this MIDI in. Dope. And then this one, MIDI out. I always forget which one the MIDI out is. It's the one on the far right, I believe. Okay, and then let's do a new project. Oh yeah, let me put M8 on your television screen. Dude, the 303 is not velocity sensitive. It's funny though, because you can send MIDI that's got different velocities and it'll respect that. It'll play things quieter, but there's no way to do, or I shouldn't say no way, but the pads are definitely not velocity sensitive. Maybe with the pattern sequencer, there's a way to do like lower velocity notes. I'm not really sure. But yeah, as far as I know, the only way to get different velocities out of the 303 is to use a MIDI controller. Okay, so we're going to do new, and we're going to create a new instrument. So if you're not familiar with M8 MIDI, there's basically 2 ways that you can send MIDI out on this thing. The first is through this external, or I guess the first would be this one. The first is the MIDI out channel, which does as advertised. And then the other one is the external channel. This is more for like sending MIDI out and then also being able to hear stuff. Not exactly our use case though. So I'm just going to use the MIDI out channel. And the channel is channel 1. The SP303 has a way that you can like change the channel that it receives MIDI notes on, but right now it's set to 1, so I'm not going to mess with it. So we're going to keep it at 1. And then this one doesn't really matter, but I'll just set it to MIDI. It doesn't need to send things through USB, so maybe we'll just keep that open. So yeah, with all that done, I should theoretically be able to put notes down. And what you're hearing right now is actually the 303. It's not the M8. So we're going to hide this. I'm going to go to page 1, which I'm already on. And you can see I'm pushing the edit button on M8. And it's lighting up this pad. And I can change the note. This is the hi-hat. Snare. Whatever that is, cool arpeggio. And it's just as easy as that. All I gotta do is put some notes down. And I press play. Not a great example. let's do a basic rhythm section. So let me put the M8 screen back on. So we got kick, kick, snare, snare, and then there's hi-hats. Turn the tempo down. So yeah, pretty simple. And we can do a lot from just a single track on M8, or we could do multiple tracks to have a little bit more of the control over the sound and stuff. But one thing that's cool about the way this works is that the notes aren't going to cut each other off. So the M8 is monophonic if you're playing sounds from within it. If you're playing MIDI sounds though, they don't stop each other. So for instance, so that arpeggio sound carries through all the other drums. So it's still playing when the hi-hat plays on this one and the snare plays on this one. So you don't have to worry about being super, tough or super tight with the sequence to make sure everything fits. You can kind of just throw notes down and it's going to play it on 303. No problem. And yeah, let me just check up on chat here. Still Life saying, I remember waiting or wanting one of those way back in the day. But as a kid, $300 or whatever was a fortune. Still kind of costs quite a bit, to be honest with you. These things are collector's items for sure. But yeah, they're fun to mess around with. And I can only imagine what it was like when these first came out. People messing around with them. Samplers are fun. Okay, so we've got the basic moving parts here. I mean, honestly, my plan was just to get rid of all these sounds and start new ones, but maybe I'll just build a basic sequence just to kind of like get the muscle memory in a little bit. So yeah, let's try doing like a cool boom bap pattern. And then what I'm going to do is I will use a different track for the hi-hat just because it's going to be easier to manage if I have it separate here. Because like I said, you can play the notes all from a single track. The polyphony is not an issue. What becomes an issue is like if I wanted to have like certain delay commands or FX sequences on some of these steps, it's going to get a little bit difficult to manage if everything's all on a single track. So by having something like hi-hat split up, it's a little bit easier to manage basically. And then we can use the delay commands to kind of nudge stuff off. And then let's do like that double tempo trick. So 89 times 2 is 90 times 2 is 180, so it'd be 178. 178. And then I have to do this groove thing. 1 2 3 4 5 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So double tempo, double ticks per step. So now we're still at 89 BPM basically on paper, but we've got twice as many ticks, so it'll make it easier to do like different micro timing values and stuff. Leave that alone for now. And then like I was saying earlier, we can also do different velocities. So for the hi-hats, I can have every other one be a little quieter. And then say we wanted to throw an open hat in the mix here. Whoops. All right, and then, so that's like a basic rhythm section. What else we got here? And these are all just samples that I have loaded on the 303. I'll probably put some different stuff on in a second. But let's see, Still Life saying, ended up getting an old Akai S20. Dude, that's what's up. Extra memory chip, dude. Nice. Yeah, I have an old Akai S2000. So it's S20 times 100. It's like a rack mount sampler. That thing's interesting. I don't really do much with it. But I have been trying to think of ways to incorporate it into the setup. And then Sidesi's saying, I have my M8 here and I'm trying to run MIDI in so I can play the sounds from the other devices on the M8. That is possibly right. And then Matt Jacob, what's up, dude? What's going on? Welcome. But yeah, Sidesi, if you're trying to play the sounds from the other device on the M8, you might want to do the MIDI. Well, it depends. Like you could do MIDI out of M8 into your other device if you want to sequence the other device on M8. If you want to be able to press buttons on your other device and then the M8 plays, then you got to do MIDI in. Hopefully that makes sense. It can be a little complicated. MIDI can be tricky, but once you learn the basics, you are all good. Okay, so let's do another basic test here. And this is going to be important in terms of the way the sample chops work, is I want to mess around with this gate function and how the note off behavior works. So let's try. Okay, so yeah, this sample is like a bass run or whatever. So I'm going to set it to gate mode so that I can kind of like play it as a single note, or I can hold it and it'll do the two notes. Now let's try to figure out how we can sequence something around that. So I think what I'd have to do is, well, what happens if I just press play? So it plays the entire thing. I think I might have to do like an off command. And there's also a sequencer command called off that works similarly, but you can specify the tick. So that could be more helpful probably. Where art thou? Off command. Notes are in here somewhere. Maybe it's kill. Oh, there it is, off. Okay, cool. So we got kill and then off. In fact, I think kill would work because off is like, that's for the M8 internal like envelope and stuff. But kill is gonna just stop the note. So it sounds kind of janky, but you kind of get the point there. And so the gate mode is going to be very useful because it'll allow me to control when the sample stops playing, because otherwise the 303 is just going to play it in one-shot mode and it'll play the sample all the way through. And the kill command is going to be useful when I want to do like different sample chops and just have something stop playing even though it's super long. So yeah, this is a pretty good proof of concept. I think we're good to just kind of start from scratch. So let me delete some of this stuff. And then we can start sampling in and get some cool sounds on here. Whoa. Delete that. Delete that. And then delete that. All right. And then switching over to the ancient 303, we're just going to clear this out. Oh, you can't do, oh, actually, if you hold, so yeah, I was going to try and delete them all at once. So if you hold cancel and you press delete, you get the delete all prompt. And so by default, it's going to do all the pads. And that's fine with me. Boom. Or no, you have to pick actually. So I'll do it off the internal memory. This is probably going to take a minute, actually. The internal memory is very slow on 303, so you have to be patient. Oh, wait, did it finish already? Oh, yeah. Wow. Here I am talking smack on 303, and it's already done. And then the card is what's a little bit faster to work with. So cancel del, C and D. Boom. I said boom. Nice. So now we have a clean slate. So we can record some sounds in. And I have the line out of M8 going to the line in of the 303. So we'll be able to get sounds right in there. Got the sample pipeline set up. But yeah, Sidesi's saying, yeah, I have it on the in, but it doesn't have the option for in on the instrument list, only out. Oh, you might be thinking of, so basically if you want to control, if you want to push keyboard buttons on an external controller and have the M8 make sounds, you have to go to the, here, let me put the screen back on. So yeah, you got to go to the project screen. So shift up from the song view. Then you go to MIDI settings. And then from here, this is where you'll specify what channel controls the instruments that you have saved on the M8. So for instance, channel 1 controls instrument 00, channel 2 instrument 00. So right now it's all controlling 00. So you'll have to figure out like what channel your MIDI controller is sending notes on. And then from there you can go to this MIDI settings and then change it like, oh, I want to do instrument 3 on channel 1 or whatever. So that's probably what you're going to need to do to make it so that your external controller can play sounds on M8. So that's that. Okay, back to our mission here. So let's listen to the sample that we're going to be using, which is called Tower of Wind. Where is it? Samples to do. Here we go. Let's take a look here. Oh, I can't hear anything because the external in's not on. Wow, beautiful. And if you like the sound of that, you can download it for free on the Patreon, which I was talking about earlier. The link is in the description. But yeah, let's go and record some of these sounds in. Now, the only other thing that's kind of wonky about the 303 is that it doesn't have a way to play things chromatically. So you can't really like pitch up and down like you normally would on other samplers and stuff. There's like a pitch effect, but it's not really the same as what we're talking about when we're talking about playing things chromatically. So I might have to record a couple different pitches in of some of these sounds, but let's just grab some stuff that sounds cool. This part sounds dope. All right, let's take a look here at 303. I guess I'll just record them in kind of like one at a time. Yep. I'll do the next one here. And yeah, this is what you got to do before sample chops existed. You would just adjust the start point of the samples. So instead of recording it all in one, I'm just taking chunks that I think are interesting. Whoa. Screwed that up. Gotta find the right start point here. Gotta keep doing that. Okay, record, select the pad. Oh, whoops. Does this have anything on it? No. All right, record, select the pad. And I'll just grab this one real quick. All right, and so it'll be important for all these to be in gate mode so I can control it using that method I was talking about earlier. And I gotta adjust the start point of some of these too. Nice. So that sounds pretty chill. Let me try and sequence that. So I gotta find the notes that are gonna play those sounds. Oh, I'm on the wrong instrument. Nice, so G5 is this one. Nice. So I've got a basic sequence here. I do kind of want the notes to fade into each other though. Like when I'm holding one of the pads down using the MIDI sequence, I want it to play a little bit into the next one. And when I'm using this kill command, it kind of like stops it a little bit short. You can hear like a little gap. So I think I might have to use the off command maybe. Or maybe there's one called hold that'll do that. Oh, this is convenient. Look at that. It tells you how many steps it's going to do. How many steps is this? 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But it kills the note if I make it one tick longer, like basically starting on step 8. Interesting. I think that'll have to do. But yeah, let me check up on the chat here. Life says 303 Buzz is nostalgic. Heck yeah, man. And then Sidesi's going to play around with doing those controls. That's what's up. Yeah, linking devices is fun, man. It's definitely unlocks different potentials that you might not be aware of using things by themselves. And then, yeah, dude, rack synth, traveling with those, oof, no thank you. Oh yeah, Matt Jacobs saying use volume to fade it out. It's not a bad idea. Let me try that. I could do VOL. That's actually brilliant. I think that'll work. And then pitch it down. Oh, it doesn't, it seems like volume doesn't affect the velocity of the MIDI note. Because right now it's at 0. Oh wait, no, now it's at negative 128. But it's still playing at the same volume. That was a good idea though. Yeah, I feel like the off command is what should work, but it just like totally cuts the note off. It's okay though. It's alright if there's a little bit of overlap. That's like the old school style. Alright, let's record some drums in. Okay, we're gonna do snare first. It's much louder than the loop. Kind of like that one. Oh, yeah, that's going to stop it when I go to the sample screen. All right, so let's record this in. Yeah. All right, and I'll use the first few banks to do the drum samples because they're shorter and we have less sample memory on A and B. So we can do it in super duper lo-fi. We'll just keep it on lo-fi, not long. Nice and crunchy. And then this is the easy part. So I just have to put the snare note, C4. I'm pretty sure the first one's C4. Oh, it's a little bit off. Because I have to adjust the start and end level. I don't have the threshold recording on, so I'm kind of like just doing stuff manually here, which is fine. Alright, let's find a kick next. Alright, this one sounds chill. Oh yeah, and then Still Life is saying, how many voices does 303 have? That's a good question. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Can't be much, considering the age of this sampler. Maybe 10 or 12 or something, if I had to guess. Not really sure, though. Maybe we'll find out when we hit that limit. Hopefully we don't, but we'll see. Okay, I'm going to record this one in as well. Let's get this one in lo-fi. See how it's blinking? That means it's super duper lo-fi. It's gonna be crunchy. Yeah, I gotta adjust the start time on this thing. What the heck? Let's find a hi-hat. This one sounds pretty sick. I'm gonna record it in with some effects though. It's got a little bit of like a low end on it that I'm gonna trim out using Yield Isolator. And we're going to record it in super duper lo-fi, so it sounds super crunchy. And let's do it. Oh wait, did it turn off the isolator? Yo, bro. What's all that about? Record. There we go. Nice. Okay, so let's get this in the sequence. And yeah, like I mentioned before, I think I'm going to use a different track for the hi-hat, just so I have more control over it. and can use the FX parameters more specifically for sequencing this. Oh, whoops. Yo. There we go. Yeah, I think I need to adjust the start point on this too. A little snappier there. Alright, got a pretty basic groove there, but let's try adding some more percussion. And then, oh, Freedom is saying, I purchased an M8 a year and a half ago. Never got past the basics, but your videos helped me dive deeper. Now I use it all the time. Dude, heck yeah. That's what's up, man. Yeah, M8, you don't want to be sleeping on. That thing is freaking powerful. And just like we're showing here, it's not just powerful by itself, but you can also use it with other devices. But plenty of possibilities for sure. All right, so we've got some lo-fi groove going here. Let me see if I can make these sample chops a little louder, actually. I don't really think I made it any louder, it just sounds the same. Not too bad though. But yeah, let's find some other layers here. Sounds pretty chill. Let's record it in. And yeah, I don't think I need to do any isolator or input effects on it. Sounds fine the way it is. We are going to make it lo-fi though. Nasty. In the best way possible. Alright, so let's work that in. This is where the gate really comes in handy. Nice. Okay, cool. And then Strolipe is saying, can you make the signal hotter coming out of the M8 going into the 303? Yeah, that's what I should have done, really. In fact, I might re-record some of the sample chops with it being a little bit louder. I think the drums are definitely loud enough, but the sample itself was a little bit quiet. In fact, I probably should have normalized it before I started recording it in. That's a note to future self. But yeah, and then Strolipe saying, is the gate basically the same as attack? It's a little bit different. The gate is like the release, essentially. So it allows me to let go of the note, and then it stops playing, as opposed to it playing all the way through. Oh yeah, the screen's in front of it, but you kind of get the idea. You can let off it. And you can control the gate from the M8 using MIDI by adding a note off command into the sequence, which is very convenient. So it gives me a little bit more control over when sounds are playing, which is very useful for certain sounds like the open hat, where you want it to be open for a little bit and then close down, but it's also useful for the sample chops too. Yeah, so let's re-record these in a little bit louder, because I think that's probably the missing piece here, is being able to control the sound of these things. So I'm going to delete what we've got here. Oh man, wait, I'm going to delete all, just on those pads. So we still have the drums. And then yeah, let me normalize this thing so the signal's coming in hot. Then we'll do this one. Oh, this one was a pain. Got to bring it all the way back. And it's okay if it's coming in really loud, because we can always use the velocity on the MIDI to make it quieter. So that's, yeah, you can make it quieter easily, but you can't make it louder easily. unless you're like resampling, which is basically what I'm doing. Should be fine. Nice. So I wonder what that's going to sound like with the notes that are already in the sequence. Oh, I'm so dumb. I have to put these all on gate. So yeah, basically it'll only play when the note's active, and then it'll stop when it gets the next one. So let's see how that sounds. Yeah, let me make sure the start points are all good here. All right, so I hadn't thought this far ahead, but I want to do a bass line now. Like I mentioned before though, the 303 cannot play notes chromatically, so I think I'm just gonna have to record a couple different pitches of the bass sample in. But let's find a bass sample that works first, and then we'll get to that point. Dude, this thing sounds pretty sick. Let's record it in. And I'm going to do it on the D bank, so I know that that's like non-sample slice melodic stuff, I guess. That's how I'm staying organized here. Alright, so that's the one note. Let's try doing something goofy here. I'm going to resample. Chord. So I've got these two bass sounds. And I think maybe I can use the pitch effect to like decrease the pitch. Ugh. Dude, this pitch effect is like gross. Like, what is it doing? Yeah, I'm gonna not do this. Let me delete that. So yeah, my plan there was to maybe just try to use the pitch effect to bring it down a little bit, but it sounds kind of weird. I might just have to record it in at different pitches. All right, so I've got a few different pitches that I'm interested in, so I'm going to record them in. Nice. Yo, DiBiase. Hey, what's cracking, man? How's it going? Alright, so this is the old school way to do it. We've got our several different pitches on just straight up different pads. So let me see if I can sequence something in here. Oh wait, I gotta find the notes first. Oh yeah, so it's instrument 0. So C6 is the first pad. C sharp 6, D6, D sharp 6. Tough timing. Alright, so by some miracle, we sequenced the bass line in a halfway decent manner. So let's try to think about some other layers we could pepper in here. kind of dig that. Whoa. Killed the beat though. Nice. So we're going to record that in. Oops. Alright. So I got pad 5 free here. And let's do it. Maybe I'll try doing some input effects on it. Bring it a little bit down in the mix there. Yeah, that was not a smart move, doing it in long. Sounds crazy. Well, you know what? Let's just play it with the beat and see what it sounds like. Sorry, y'all, it's just a little too lo-fi. So let's try that one more time. And this time I'll just do it in long, not lo-fi. I think that was my error there. Oh, man, this thing's loud too. Sorry about that. Keep it nice and quiet here. And so I can use the velocity to make it quieter. I could have also done it with the parameter on the 303, but yeah, you know what? Maybe I should do it with the parameter so I can tap the pad. All right, so making samples quieter. We haven't done this before. Yeah, basically you select the start end level. Sorry. And then yeah, you can turn the far right knob to make it louder or quieter. I think 60 sounds fine. Nice. All right, what else we got? Sure what this is. Just like a little chord or something. Hit it with the normalize. Sounds pretty dope, so we're going to record it in. It's a little hard to pepper it in because you can't really control the filter after you record it. You'd have to resample it, whereas most samplers, you know, you can kind of adjust things and change the levels and stuff. Yeah, with this, you really have to commit it by resampling it, and it's hard to hear it in context because while the beat is playing, you can't hear. I'm not sure actually if there's a way to send samples to certain bus effects. I don't think you can do it. I think it just puts it on the entire mix. Oh. Actually, I'm wrong. I forgot about that. So the 303, it can only put an effect, I guess, on one sample or the external. So you see the isolator's on, but the isolator's not on with everything else. Interesting. Nice, so this is kind of the shaping that I wanted to do with it. So resample, record. So this one's a lot bassier. I can get rid of it. And now I've got it kind of like high passed, basically. Alright, what else we got? Whoops. Yeah, so I think this will sound sick. Might be in the same key, perhaps. Whoa. Nice and loud. Toasty. Let's hear how it sounds in long. I know I'm gonna regret this. Nice and gritty. Yo, Gab7839. It's cracking, man. Try and add some more percussion. We got something nice here. Watch, I'm gonna normalize it. It's gonna sound crazy. So yeah, we're gonna hit it with the isolator when we record it in. Get rid of all that low end. And then we'll record it in. Nice. And then let me resample it and get it like super duper lo-fi. Oh yeah, I got to adjust the start and end point as well. So yeah, I should be able to work that into the sequence somehow. But yeah, Gab7839 writes in and says, "What time is it where you are?" Right now it's 6:23 p.m. on the west coast of the United States of America. I live in California. Okay, let's see if I can get this sequenced in here. Nice. Sounded pretty chill. But yeah, Gab says I'm in Barcelona? Dude, 3:24 a.m. Don't forget to get some sleep tonight, dude. Or this morning, I guess. But yeah, man, welcome. Shout out to Barcelona. Shout out to all of Spain. España. But yeah, I appreciate you saying that, man. Yeah, I'm not even sure what to add next. Maybe I'll try and build out the song a little bit using the M8 song mode. So we've got everything pretty stacked here, so it's looping. But yeah, we can also copy and paste some of these sections here. Or let me make sure everything is for long. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this will make it so that it'll loop correctly when it's going through the song rows. All right, so everything should be fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna copy and paste this. 1, 2, 3, 4, yep. And then we can add some of the layers in later. Oh yeah, I have to do zeros here as well. There we go. Let's see what this sounds like. Yeah, I keep forgetting that the effect is not affecting the entire mix. It's just a single sample, so you can't really like kind of dial it in weird ways, unless I resample the whole beat to a single pad. It's definitely an option. Let's try doing that actually. See what happens. So I'm gonna hit oh yeah. So I'm gonna go resample, record, select a pad, and then maybe we'll do it in long, just get it a little crunchy. And then yeah, once I press record, I'm gonna press play on M8, and then it's just gonna record the entire mix, I think. Nope, that's not how it works. Maybe I just have to hit record. I don't know. No, it's totally not doing that. Just goes to show you how little I know about this thing. Failed attempt here. But yeah, this beat's pretty chill. Nice. All right. So I think that one, I'm going to say it's a wrap there, and we can get started on something else. Or actually, I got to save it first. So let me save it, and then we'll start something new. Oh yeah, Greg Johnson. You know it, bro. So yeah, that was all sounds from the 303. Nice and crispy, as some might say. But yeah, so let's do a new project. And yeah, I think with this one, I probably won't mess around too much with 303. So we'll tune back into M8.tv over here. And yeah, let's just cook something up from scratch here. So we'll start by finding a sample. I haven't even thought this far ahead yet. So let's see what we got. Samples. Maybe I'll mess around with more of the Marlowe Dig stuff. That stuff's pretty chill. Check out the Rhodes pack. Oh, bro, I gotta use the 303. else we got here? This sounds kind of chill. Gotta come up with a simple progression here. Oh, that sounds tight, actually. All right, let's get some drums in the mix here. Something like that. Envelope on there. Kick drum next. Whoa. next. Bad. I'm gonna have to adjust the envelope a little bit, but I kind of dig it. All right, so what time is it? It's micro time. We're gonna get down on some micro timing here, and I have a special table configuration that I like to use. There are many different ways to do micro timing, quote unquote, on the M8. There is the delay command, DEL, which will push notes back by a certain number of ticks, and you can get a little more resolution with that if you double the BPM. So twice the BPM, twice the ticks per step, so you can kind of move stuff around. But I really like using this table configuration because it just feels like you get a little bit more control basically over where the notes land. So let me load it up here. And I have this template basically, the micro time template. And this has the table saved in it. Now it looks like there's a lot going on here, but it's not that complicated. So let's jump back over to the hi-hat and I'll explain. So yeah, right now this table, the way it works is essentially you can have the notes in the sequence start playing at different rows of this table. And the table rows are all set up in a way where it's got these tick FF things. And basically what that is doing is it's waiting 200 hertz and then it's going to the next row, and then it waits 200 hertz and it goes to the next row. 200 hertz, what is that in actual time though? That is, I think there's 1,000 hertz in a second. So it's like a fifth of a second, or 0.2 of a second, I guess you could call it. So it's waiting like a fraction of a second, and then it moves to the next one, waits a fraction of a second, moves to the next one. And then once it gets all the way to the bottom, it'll play the sample at full volume. So by choosing certain rows for it to start playing on, for the notes, it'll basically either, you could do it all the way up here and it waits a ton of time before it starts, or you can do it way down here and it basically only waits a little bit of time and then it starts. But we're talking about like a fraction of a second. So it's like this stuff happens super quickly. So just to demonstrate here, we've got our hi-hat track. I'm going to add this command, which is called THO. And this is going to tell it to start in one of those rows of the table. So we'll do 0.4, I guess. Or I'll start at 0, so you can hear it with nothing on. It's off grid now. And you can bring it closer to the grid by increasing the value. see it moves through it very quickly. Snaps to the bottom, but it's starting right here, I think, at 0.3. And you can also combine this with the delay command as well to get even more control of the micro timing. So I'll do that on the kick, for instance. Okay, so I gotta copy and paste the table. Copy, pasty, and then yeah, from here we'll do the ghost note, a ghost kick here. So that sounds pretty good, but what we can do is if you do delay 0.1 and the table hop, it's gonna wait that one tick and then jump to the table. So you get like a different level of control of the micro timing. And this is what it sounds like just with the delay. So it's subtle, but it makes a difference. Building on the rhythm a little bit. So yeah, what I'm gonna do next here is slice up this drum break and kind of layer it in with the one shots to give it a little bit more of a dynamic kind of sound without using too much of the drum break. Because I feel like when you're using breaks, sometimes it can sound a little bit too much like what the break is and not enough your own expression. So I think a good way to balance it is to do the one shots first and then slice a break and kind of like throw it in underneath and see if you can get it to sound interesting. So let's put some slice markers in this boy. 6, 7, 8. All right, so maybe I'll just do 16. Oh, whoops. I think, oh, I have to do this. Slice 16. And then I'll just take a look and make sure these things are all kind of sounding right. You love when that works out. So we're going to overwrite and then set it to slice 0 in file. And now I guess I'm just using this thing as like a shaker loop, basically. Pretty chill. layers we got? See if we can make that work. Kind of an unusual vibe there, but not too bad. Maybe I'll put a filter on it just to kind of control it a little bit. Like a nice texture. All right, so astute viewers will have noticed that I've already maxed out all my tracks. So I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever. And so basically I can't add any more sounds. I've hit the limit. But there is a way to get more sounds out of your M8, which is using the resample workflow. And basically what that is you'll be recording a rendering of certain tracks that are like kind of combined into one sample instead of them being on different tracks. So like for instance, right now I have the snare, kick, and hi-hat on these 3 tracks. So I can render them down to one track so that I can only have, or so that I have the sounds consolidated there, and I can add even more layers. So let's go through that. First thing you want to do is make sure everything's the same length. So I'm going to do 4 bars on this, or 4 phrases, I mean. And then the other limitation here is that once you do this, it's kind of like you'd have to re-render if you make any changes in the future to, or if you want to make any changes in the future to these sounds, but it's not that bad because you can always re-render. So yeah, we've got these 3 here. This is the snare, kick, and hi-hat. So I can highlight, press edit twice. Oh, I have to have a song name first. Let me do that. Okie dokie. So highlight, and then you can press edit twice after you've named the song. And then from here, you get a couple options. And real-time render is if you want it to like play in real time, I guess. If you want to like add effects to it or do other stuff like in real time, you could use that. External is for line in and USB audio in. And then quick render is just going to do what I selected, and it's going to render it and turn it into a sample. You can see it's doing it a little bit quicker than if it were playing it in time, I guess. Okay, and then it creates a new instrument. So we can take a look at that. And let me just do 21, I guess, so I don't get too mixed up here. 22, do. And then, yeah, the new sampler instrument will basically have the rendering in it. So it's this one. Let's take a look here. Dang, I should have put the shaker or tambourine or whatever it is in there too. But yeah. And so what you might be thinking is, well, I've got this big giant sample. Now I just have to play it in its entirety. And you don't, because you can use the slice command to basically split it up in such a way that you can play it pretty granularly, I guess. So for instance, if I just do 16, that's going to split it into, let's see, it was, well, here, let's start basic. So it's 4 phrases, the rendering. So if I do slice 04, that means that each of the slices will start, I can basically play it from the beginning of the phrase, and it'll just play the entire phrase. If I do slice 08, so you double that, that means I can trigger this track from the middle of the phrase too. So the beginning and the middle. So here, let me show you. So we've got these 2 notes. And then I'll play this by itself too, so you can hear it. Whoops. As opposed to, well, so you can see it just stopped there, and that's with slice 08. So if I did slice 04, that would play the entire way through. Nice. Or I could get even more granular. So that was 8. Let's do 16. So with slice 10, which is 16 slices, you can basically do, I guess, the quarter notes. And what you've probably noticed is that it's lining up with basically like the kick and the snare, essentially. So this is a pretty good way to control it. And it doesn't end there, because you can also use, well, actually, I think I have to enable this transpose setting. But yeah, you can create a sequence that has the bottom slices on it. So this is slice 1, C1, 2, 3, 4. And then what I can do is I can do this again, but do the transpose. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now it's going to play the 5th slice, the 6th slice, the 7th slice, and the 8th slice. Although you do have to enable this transpose option, I think. And of course it's going to sound the same because it's basically just a loop. And then I could do the same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so this is basically just playing all of these different phrases, but it's on a single track now, using the render option. And again, the purpose of this is that now I can put this down here because I want to keep these in case I want to make changes and re-render. That'll be super easy to do. But now I can just have 21 here. And so yeah, basically before I had these 3 tracks for the rhythm section. Now I just have 1. So I've got 2 extra tracks that I could put, I don't know, whatever I want to put there. Different sounds, guitar, or, you know, whatever other layers I want to pepper in. Basically I can do that. So the resample workflow, it makes it very efficient, and you can really get a lot of mileage out of it. The only thing that's kind of tricky with it is if I wanted to make changes later on, for instance, it would be a little bit difficult because I have to re-render, like I talked about earlier. But yeah, let me check up on the chat here. Dude, the engineer writes in and says, thank you for all your M8 videos and content. Dude, heck yeah. Yeah, thank you for saying that. I'm glad you're digging it. And hopefully your M8 journey is going well and you've learned a lot of cool stuff. Not just from me, but everyone else too. Because yeah, the Discord is pretty crazy. There's always like people super knowledgeable there that can answer questions and show you how it's done. But yeah, I like using M8 for fun little boom bap stuff. Speaking of, yeah, now we can add some more layers. Whoa. Not a bad layer there. It's like vocal choir type thing. Could probably put a filter on it to get it sit in the mix a little bit better. But yeah, the engineer says, I've checked out the Discord. It's cool. Your videos are some of the best. Dude, I appreciate you saying that. It's really nice of you. I'm personally not into chiptunes, so it's cool to see people making other genres, which aren't so common on the M8. Yeah, man, that's the power of the sampler, is that you can literally make any genre as long as you have the right samples and are doing some cool stuff with it. So yeah, M8 has a very capable sampler. You got a lot of different options. You can chop stuff up, playback modes, filters, and all the rest of it. So this thing is fun to make, yeah, many different genres of music on. That's for sure. Something like that 303 vinyl sim though, huh? Sounds schlappy. Dang, that thing's a vibe. But Stir Life saying, sonically, do you like the sound of the M8 over the black box, or are they about the same? Yeah, I would say this thing in the black box, they have pretty much the same kind of sonic character in that it's not anything special like the SP series, 303, etc. Because you don't have different like sample rates that you can bring stuff in at to kind of like crunch it up a little bit. Like with this thing, you've got like long and lo-fi, for instance, and the P6 is similar. For this thing though, I mean, you can kind of dirty sounds up. You have a little bit more of the dirtying the sound up kind of control on M8 than you do on black box. So with M8, you can use the degrade setting to like really crunch stuff up. So let me, oh, is this the rhythm section here? Like even just degrade 3 sounds nasty. Gets a little too crazy at this point. But this kind of degrade control you don't have on the black box at all. Like you kind of just record stuff in and that's where it is. So I feel like the black box doesn't really have that unique of a sound profile or sonic profile as opposed to M8, which you have a little more options on, but definitely not the same caliber as something like this where it's got like that really nice kind of warm, or I don't know, whatever it's doing to the sound, whatever ancient chips are in this device, it makes it sound very nice. Pitch effect is just like, what is going on there? got a very nice lo-fi effect too. Nice. All right. Well, yeah, made a couple beats, got to chill out with the homies. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for pulling up. Big shout out to you and everyone else. Thanks for blowing up the chat, Strill Life, Engineer, Gab, and all the rest of y'all. But I'm going to sign off at this point, eat some dinner, and etc. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hope to catch you on the next one. But until then, peace.